Folks, I'm putting another video together. I just screen recorded one from someone, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna put it separate. I think I'm gonna put it at the end of this one. So this is going to be quite lengthy. And I'm going to talk a little bit in between each section. Folks, we're in for a wild ride. And it's coming even faster than I thought. And when you get to the last video, because I really think I'm going to put that on here, hang on to your hats. Hang on to your hats, folks. If you think that the government officials care for you, they don't. I have been telling people for decades they're going to depopulate the earth. I told people that I went down on a train to Louisiana and back in 2017. And I talked to people down there when I was down there. I stayed with someone for about 3 days, I think, and I was getting information. And she told me that the flood of 2016, and by the way, Aaron Neville sang a song about that. One of the most haunting phrases in that song is, "They're trying to kill us. They're trying to kill us." They had rain, unbelievable rain, and they were doing her ditch before this happened. And she says, you know, I worked with the city and the county, and I worked for a bank. And so I knew what they were doing wasn't right. So anyway, then come the rain a while later. And in 45 minutes, she said she noticed the ditch was running backwards. And she said, that's not right. And it was just her and her daughter there. And she said, in 45 minutes, she had 2.5 feet of water in her house. A live oak came down and went through her roof. And FEMA says, well, there's no damage here. And they give her a check for, I think it was $4.35. And she framed it and put it on her wall. But there was a guy across the road that was renting a house. They got $50,000. What happened was the rain was in Baton Rouge. And she was in Albany. That's where I was. And she said, they put abutments around the city of Baton Rouge. And people were complaining because of the flooding. So they took a couple of them out. And what happened was the water gushed out like if you have an above ground pool. And the wall falls down and the water comes out. And that's what happened. She said a spirit come in there that day. And it flooded. And FEMA was there. And she said that they said they were coming back to get her and her daughter. An hour went by. Her daughter says, oh, they're coming. She said, no, they're not. Yeah, they are, Mom. No, they're not. When the water subsided a little bit, so that wasn't in her house, and I was there, you know, and she still had 2-3 feet from the floor up that was cut out to replace. Now remember, I was there in 2017, so this was not long after that. She hadn't got everything taken care of yet. She said that there was no one around. And she let her dogs out. And her dogs were like they were in a fight with something. And she opened the door, and she said they looked like two werewolves out there. And she's trying to get them in. And two guys in white clothing showed up. And they said, go inside, get your dogs inside, go inside now. So she did that. And she went to open the door to thank them, and they weren't anywhere to be found. The werewolves or wolves were gone. The men were gone. She looked down the street. I was there. You can see down the street for a long ways. These guys were on foot. And she couldn't believe it. And she took her dogs to the vet because one of them had gotten bit real bad. And the vet says, well, who did this to your dog? And she explained what she saw. And he said, this is not a dog bite. This is not a wolf bite. This looks like somebody took a scalpel and cut him open. A few days after that, two men come in white with a wagon and give her food. Crackers, peanut butter, bread, a few other things. And again, she forgot to thank them, so she opened the door. They were gone. I wondered before she told me all this, why when I walked the streets of Albany in Louisiana, the streets were all new. The buildings were all new. Everything was new. I saw one pile of rubble. Because I don't know about now, but in 2017, it was still quite a tiny town. Then I knew why. And I noticed that if they smiled and waved at you and say hi, started talking to you, it's because they were not local people. But if you smiled and said hi, like I did to somebody, and they were local, they looked at you like, and walked on by. Never said a word. What I also found out from her was right after Hurricane Katrina come in there, 3 days in a row, Black Hawk helicopters were flying around there. Right after 3 days, they skedaddled as fast as they come in. So I got on the local news archives. And sure enough, I saw a news clip. People are calling in saying there's explosions at the levee. Folks, the government blew up the levee. The hurricane didn't damage it. The government did. Hurricane Harvey. There was someone who was on the news, or being interviewed by a reporter in the rain. Why aren't you in the shelters? He says, because someone in Salvation Army was caught killing people, shooting them, and they cut him right off. But it was captured, and somebody put it out there. And a guy from the Cajun Navy, which was from Louisiana, because this woman also knew the Cajun Navy personally. Those people you don't want to mess with. They're good to you, but you mess around with them, you're in trouble. This guy wasn't really actually with the Cajun Navy, but he was a military man, and he worked with the Cajun Navy, and they went to Texas. And they went to go in. He was with the sheriff. And the sheriff and him stood their ground when FEMA asked him, "What are you going to do?" He said, "Well, we're going to go save some Texans." "Oh, no, you're not. You can't go in there." "Oh, yes, we can." And he looked at the guy and he said, "You can't take a gun in there." He says, "Yes, I can." The government agent went for his gun and he put his elbow down on it, like you do to hold it in the holster when somebody's trying to get it. He said, "You do that again, I'm going to put a bullet right in your head." Remember the Georgia Guidestones before they got destroyed? Any of you? The first of the 10 Commandments, or rules, however you want to name it, is to maintain the population on the earth at 500 million people. Folks, at 8.5 billion people, do you see how many they got to annihilate to just get down to that point? That's why the guillotines I told you in the last video. Well, not the last video, because I just put a short one up today, but the longer one the day before. Folks, I'm going to show you something. You better get it through your head. You better share this with everybody you know. Because I've talked to a lot of people over the years. And I've talked to a lot of people, even though I go nowhere. I've talked to a lot of people. Today, I was called delusional. Today, by somebody. Well, we're going to see about that in about 2 more months. And if any of you have been here long enough to remember that I had a YouTube channel, one of them that was taken down in 2019, I've had 3 or 4 of them taken down here, or maybe more, just since 2020. I told people then, wouldn't it be interesting if the 4th of July, Independence Day, was the day they took away our independence? Recently, when I showed clips and I showed the birthday cake on the Economist magazine, and I've talked about it more than once, 250 was written on that birthday cake. But around the birthday cake was ships with weapons on it. Now I'm already at 13 minutes right now. I'm telling you folks, what you're going to see, and if I was you, I'd watch the whole thing. Some of it might be a little redundant. Some of it you might have seen before. But I'm telling you, watch it. I'll be in there a couple times. And the last one is somebody's video I'm going to show you. And what they're showing, because guess what? I just seen a video the other day with a robot in Kroger. They won't need you. What I'm going to show you, they're doing everything from cleaning toilets to changing tires, working on cars. A whole factory is with these things in China. Why do you think Trump and all the tech giants went over there with him? They act like they hate each other in public, but they don't. They're all in on it. Every single one of them. That is why the American dream has become an American nightmare. And people that are young today have no clue what people my age, 67 I am, saw in the 50s or the 60s and the 70s was nothing compared to what you're seeing now. And it was even starting to happen then, only I didn't see it. I wasn't awake then. I didn't really wake up until 2005 and started having dreams and visions. I'm telling you, folks, you ain't got no time left. Zero. And you better, this lady that's on there, she's got videos on the last video. These people are telling you what to do. I wouldn't get a gas generator if I was you. I'd spend my money on solar. Because if there's no EMP and no CME, you'll still have light. But when everything shuts down, you have no electricity, and you can't get gasoline, those gas generators won't do you a bit of good, will they? So, now I'm about 16 minutes. You watch this, and I'll be back in between some sections because I've got a lot to say. Please be patient, and please, it's lengthy. I know your attention span might be short, but this is nothing to just throw away. It's nothing to just, well, I know that. I know. No, there's something that you will hear that you've never heard before. Trust me. I'm out.
Oh, serious question. How am I supposed to explain to my children one day that they probably, by the time they reach my age that I am now, they probably won't be able to afford themselves or their life?
Millions of Americans are literally giving up. Like day by day, they're saying, I'm done, I'm quitting, I'm not doing this anymore, because we're all tired of it. On the realest note ever, the fact that everything in the freaking store is $5, good luck trying to get, like, I'm a single man. And it still is about $100 if you're trying to eat some healthy quality foods, like just to get out the store. Then you go and get your gas. It's $5 at a minimum, like everywhere you go. So here's the thing. I'm making more money than I have ever made in my life, y'all. Like for real, for real. I thought that if you made this kind of money back when I was younger, like 10, 15 years ago, I thought that, dang, you really might have made it if you made this kind of money. So it's the fact that I don't even know how anybody making less than, say, $25 an hour can afford to live in America right now. Like, you go getting a car payment, dude, that's $600. That's not even with the insurance, okay? You go trying to get a house, they are 7, 8 times the average income. So, like, the bare minimum house is $400,000. I'm just trying to say, dude, something's got to make sense because it's Memorial Day. All right. And I'm going to work, because if you don't go to work today, you're going to end up spending money that you didn't have to spend. Like, it's just, you got to stay ahead. And if you slip up, if you take a single break, gosh, dude, you're eating with the wolves. Like, that's how America has become.
Anyone else feeling more depressed than normal lately? I'm just curious. Like, just this, like, looming depression. And it's not like boohoo, lock yourself in a dark room depression, but you can feel something's off. My take is this. I just filled up my gas tank, and for $30, I got a day's worth of gas in my truck, essentially. And I'm realizing more and more of how fucked our economy is. I went through this last recession deal that we did in the early 2000s, and it fucking sucks. And this is all the signs of what it was. I mean, how many people out there right now have no credit card debt because you don't need to live on your credit cards? I make more money today than I did 5 years ago, by far. Yet I am broker like tremendously broker than I was 5 years ago. If I would have made this money 5 years ago, holy shit, like life would be amazing. But it's like, it's not enough. And now all of a sudden you kind of like feel like a failure, and you start to get in your head of like, why am I constantly stressed? I mean, are you driving around with your check, your fuel light on, or are you giving up your health insurance because you're trying to cut corners somewhere just to get some more money and cash flow somewhere? I don't know, man. I will say this. I think it's going to get a lot worse, way worse than this before it ever gets better. I think you're going to see a lot of people struggle with addiction. I think you're going to see a lot of people struggle with mental health. Like, it's going to get fucking crazy. Kind of like it did back then. And I don't mean to be like some, like sound the alarms or whatever bullshit, but I'm just like, I'm watching more and more people just using credit cards on shit and just not having money all of a sudden. And never slowed down the spending. And now all of a sudden it's like we didn't even slow down the spending and you're just broke. I don't know. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that this is just a little phase. I guess we'll find out. I just want to let you know, if you're struggling right now, you ain't alone.
When do you think they'll get it? When do you think they're going to understand that people cannot afford the lives that they want? They can't afford the children. The generations will continue to get smaller. People will continue having fewer children. When do you think that's going to happen? Like, it's not a matter of, oh, well, it's just like a minor dip. It's a matter of the fact that people can barely make it work on their own. Or if you're in a situation like myself, I'm finally making really good money. I'm not going to immediately funnel that to a freaking kid. No, absolutely not. And yet the cost of living is still insane. Inflation's still insane. Housing still insane. And it's like they just think that they can continue to escalate on every front and everyone's still going to comply. Like, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to collapse. Like, I just don't understand why this is all coming as a surprise for them. They just think they can squeeze more and more and more. Everyone's increasing their prices on every front and saying, why isn't anyone having children? Gee, I wonder.
I need to rant about the cost of rent in Michigan. So I'm getting ready to sell my 4-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom home in Michigan. And currently my mortgage payment is around $2,300. I thought about buying. The market to buy is absolutely psychotic. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll just rent for a year or so and save some money, and that will be great, right? No, absolutely not. Because what I've found as I'm looking at the cost of rentals is that for a 2-bedroom apartment, they want often between $2,300 and $2,800. And no, I'm not fucking with you. Who is paying these costs? Well, in one city in particular, which is Ann Arbor, I'm sure it's out-of-state parents that have quite a bit of money that are sending their teenagers to University of Michigan. And that has something to do with driving up the cost of rent there. But even in the cities that are surrounding there, the rents are psychotic. And I can also tell you that even an hour away, prior to buying this house, I rented for a year, and the cost for a 2-bedroom apartment was fucking $2,000. I can pay this if I have to, but what the fuck do they expect people to do who can't? All of the people that help our society operate, who make $50,000, $60,000 a year or less in many cases, they need a place to live. And I am honestly just on a daily basis, increasingly more and more disgusted with what this country has become. Because I can tell you, in that same city, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, in 2011, I paid less than $700 for a 1-bedroom apartment, pretty close to downtown. And literally 15 years later, it's quadrupled. I mean, I don't know. I can tell you right now that the wages sure haven't quadrupled. So good luck. Like, I don't know what we're going to do.
Grocery update, the West Virginia version. So I'm from outside of Philly and groceries are high. They're high everywhere. I needed to drive down to my in-laws today to drop off some supplies for them. They're elderly. And I decided to stop at Aldi and then Walmart and make sure that they had enough groceries. And they're homebound and they have caretakers that come in and take care of them. So I spent $175-ish at Aldi, and I literally got like the cheapest stuff possible. I bought pasta sauce, peanut butter, jelly, really basics like the little ground turkey chubs, like the little 1-pounders. I did splurge and bought a pack of steaks, but they were like the thin chopped steaks that you would make like a Salisbury steak with, something like that. Instant mashed potatoes, canned vegetables, things that were easy for their caretakers to kind of put together and, reasonably healthy. $175 for 5 bags of groceries. Not even, anything extravagant. Like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Then I had to go to Walmart, which was a block down, and the Walmart was insane. So the register, the scanner, it was all not working very well, and then the credit card, the debit card machine wasn't working. and the worker guy was like so nice. He was like the nicest dude, and he was just like, oh, you have to put it in and out 3 times and then swipe it. And I was like, what? Like, do I have to do a little spinny dance too? And he, he's just laughing. He's like, yeah, these have been broken for a while. They don't want to fix them, and they don't want to pay us to do checkout. He's like, they're busy being billionaires. So I'm like, yeah, yep, that's about right. That's about right. And that was $140. $140 for a box of coffee, the store brand, dog food, 2 cans of fruit, like canned peaches and canned pineapple, and a rotisserie chicken. What? $140? So I spent between $310 and $320 today and did not really get much. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. And the thing that struck me was, I mean, this is definitely Trump country, and I'm in West Virginia. We know that's a red state, and it was crowded. It was definitely crowded, and everyone was like buying their groceries, and you could tell everyone was just very much sticking to their list. They were not deviating. They were focused on the prices. You could see it. You could see it.
I have not been on here in so long. And I just need to get my voice out. It is ridiculous how our economy is today. I work a full-time job. I have a 6-year-old kid. I'm married. You think I should be living the high life, right? Wrong. Everything's going up in price, and the expectation of us to spend money, and no wages are going up. Nothing is going up. It's just getting to the point where it's like, why aren't we angry? Why is no one doing anything? It's honestly just so frustrating to sit here and worry about how I'm gonna have my kid act like pretend everything is fine. But it's not. It's so expensive to get my kid into anything. It's so expensive to basically have a job. My job requires me to drive my own car, and they pay me $600 a month as an allowance for my car. I'm spending about $100 in gas a week just to do my job, just to go do my job. Are they giving us raises? No cost of living adjustments. My husband and I, we would love to have a house. We would love to have a backyard. We would love to do all these things, but it's not possible at all. The trickle-down economy is not working. The poor are getting poorer. The rich are getting richer. And people aren't angry about it. Celebrities are, buy my merch, buy my tickets to my concert. Oh my god. No one's buying tickets. Yeah, we're struggling to buy food. As a younger millennial, I'm really beginning to question when we're going to call it a day. You know, I mean, I know the vast majority of us have woken up, thankfully, and we've realized that we've been sold a lie pretty much our entire lives, and that this American dream is not it's not attainable. It's not attainable. It was attainable for the older generations. As we know, they were able to work their 40 hours a week and reap the benefits. Whereas we have to work 2 to 3 jobs just to achieve the same results. And I'm in a position where realistically I will have to get a second job in order to better my situation. Potentially even maybe get a third to help pay down my debt. And I'm not doing it. I'm not participating in this. I'm not doing it. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I've worked since I was 14 years old. I think most millennials are in the same boat. We've been working forever and we're burnt out. There's been many phases throughout my life where I've had to work multiple jobs just to get by. just to get by. And I have nothing to show for it. I don't have a house. My car, I've been driving the same car since I was in college. So 10 years, over 10 years. It's falling apart. I can barely afford groceries. I'm living with my parents because I can't afford to rent on my own. People say, oh, we'll just get roommates. I'm 30 years old. I shouldn't have to live with fucking roommates. I'm an adult. I was able to live on my own before. Not anymore, though. All of our clothes are plastic. All of our food is poisonous. It's toxic, and we're paying top dollar for it. I don't have health care because when I was laid off, obviously I lost my insurance, and I found a way to work for myself, but I can't afford health care. If I do need something, I'm paying out of pocket. The list just goes, it's never ending. And I think we're all just at a point where we're done. We're exhausted. I seek seclusion at this point. I want to go like live off grid somewhere and just never talk to a soul again. I'll get a tiny home and just live in the woods. I want to be left the alone. I don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore. And I'm like, at what point do we like band together and try to fix this? Or what? Or do I just, do I give up and just go get my tiny home in the woods? I don't know.
Well, let's start this rant off right. I fucking hate this country. I cannot be the only fucking one who has considered himself a patriot their whole life and supported their country that fucking hates it here. I fucking hate it here. I'm about to lose my shit. Only income for a family of 5. I fucking break my back, work 2 jobs when I have to, work side jobs. I make pretty good money as a carpenter for the union. Believe it or not, you know, over $100,000 a year where in the area where I live in, and it doesn't mean shit. Can't buy a house because I can't afford a $4,000 a month mortgage payment. What makes this the greatest country? Because I'm about to flip out. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. I got nothing to look forward to but paying bills and dying. Meanwhile, these can fucking rip off the country, get free housing, free fucking food, this and that, and I'm over here breaking my back to even have Christmas or do anything, and this is the greatest country in the world. It's not. I can't do it anymore. I cannot be the only one who's literally about to just go buck wild crazy and do some drastic ass shit and just say it all.
So please tell me how it makes any freaking sense that as a stay-at-home mom, I had $500 in food stamps, I had health insurance for my entire family, and we got $7,000 back on taxes. I go back to work, I lose my food stamps, I lose my health insurance, and we're only getting $100 back on taxes. And this is why people don't want to work, because why am I working my butt off and losing all that stuff and still living paycheck to paycheck when I was living paycheck to paycheck before, but I at least had food stamps and health insurance and got $7,000 back? Yeah. How's that math then? Yeah.
So I've got to pay my taxes, make sure they get it on time so I don't get in trouble. And I got to make sure I drive the speed limit. And I got to make sure I'm on time to work every day. And I got to make sure I put in enough hours at work. I got to make sure that I reach a certain age before retiring. I got to make sure that I have enough money in my 401k to survive. I got to make sure that I make $114,000 as a single adult in New York State to make sure that I survive. But they and take all of our money to pay people to. And if they don't buy them, but make sure you pay your taxes.
So can somebody please explain something to me? What the fuck is going on with energy in Virginia? Because something to me is just not making sense. Every single electric bill I'm getting is looking like this. This is how all my electric bills are looking. How is it humanly possible that I was using 1,500 and less kilowatts every single month in 2025, 2024, and 2023? But somehow I'm using 5,000 kilowatts of energy now in 5,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000 the last 4 months. Something doesn't make sense, bro. And every time I call Dominion Energy, they tell me that I'm tripping. I need somebody to help me understand how a human can use 5,000 kilowatts when I'm never home. Never home. I don't use TV. I don't use heat. I don't understand. But this is getting to the point where I can't I don't know what to do with this shit, bro. Somebody help.
I can't keep doing this. Like, what the fuck is even going on. Everything that's happening and having to still go to work every day and pay bills and rent and stress about money and go to work and pretend like everything is normal. It's just not normal. And I don't know how much longer I can do this. It's like eating me from the inside out. Why aren't we doing something? What the f, guys?
Hey, so Duke Power reported profits of $5 billion yesterday. $5 billion. And now they're pushing to raise energy rates here in North Carolina by 18%. 18%, right? Can you imagine that conversation at the board meeting? Yeah, we just recorded record profits of $5 billion. Well, what's next on the agenda? I don't know. Let's raise the energy rates by 18% to make it $7 billion next year, right? Energy's not a luxury. Like it's not a subscription. It's not a Netflix that you can just cancel. Yet here we are again, just flat out bending over for these monopolies. Just bending it, and there's nothing that we can do about it, right? Yeah, well, you could go off the grid. Yeah, sure we can. Sure we can. But with all the advances in society and where we're at these days, how far we've came, so to speak, why the fuck would we want to do that? Like, why the fuck would we want to go back and living in huts with no electricity? Because at this point, I'm seriously considering it. Seriously.
America is a work until you die country. I just had a conversation with an individual because I'm looking for jobs, and this individual had my resume, and they were asking me, what is this gap here from this month to this month? That's when I was traveling, right? That's when I was actually experiencing life. So I took about 6 months, and I traveled the year 2025, and I told them this, right? I elaborated, and they go, interesting. And then when they were kind of reading back to me what I had said, they described it as a hiatus. I didn't really know. I've heard the word. I didn't really know the exact definition. I Google it. So it's a break or a pause in something, right? That's the loose definition. Can you explain to me how stepping away from the matrix, from the system, from this god-awful corporate nonsense country that we live in, to actually experience real life for just like 6 months out of my 27 years, they describe it as a hiatus, a break or pause in what? In what? Being an employee, being a worker ant? Like, that's how they view it. They view like doing real life things as hiatuses, as a break or a pause from the real timeline. These individuals are twisted. It's not their fault per se, but they're grown adults that are just so warped because of the system that they grew up in and could never figure it out, that this is wrong, this is unhuman, this is bizarre. Like, that's bizarre. You're bizarre. I'm not bizarre. I'm trying to be healthier. You're bizarre.
Yo, I think I found the solution to lowering my electric bill. And this is not something fake. I'm going to keep it real with you. I think I found the real solution to lowering the electric bill. I paid the electric bill that was about $800 and something. What was it? Last month? Yeah, last month. So I'm still hurting from the back a little bit. Somebody got me. But I think I figured out how to lower my electric bill by a whole lot. And the only way I'm going to be able to lower my electric bill is certain things you're going to have to do. And I'm going to break it down to you. The things that you're going to have to do, you might not want to do, you might not look to do, but you're going to have to do it. And so if you want your electric bill to go from 800 or 1,000 down to about, I'm going to say maybe around to about 150, 160, follow these steps. Go in your house. Hit the first room that the light is on. Hit that light. Go to your kitchen. Unplug your major appliances. Go to your bathroom. Make sure that light is off. Go to your other room, your bedroom. Disconnect everything, your alarm clock, everything. Go to the second room. If you're lucky, you don't live in a damn one of them halfway homes or whatever. And you turn the lights off in that room and disconnect everything in that room. Basically, the moral of I'm slow right now. The moral of this story is your ass gonna walk around in darkness. That's basically the whole point of this. You gotta walk around in complete darkness, pitch black, turn everything off, disconnect everything. When you walk in the crib, I don't give a damn what time it is of the day. Dark, complete darkness. I don't give a damn if it's -5 like it is right now. You gotta walk in the house with your heat off. Your nuts gotta go back up into your body like it's the belly button. You gotta go in a home like you homeless. Walk in that house, you gotta be able to say stuff in your house like, I can't believe I gotta live like this. And you gotta see the smoke coming from your mouth from being in a house that is completely cold and dark. That's the only way you're going to be able to save on these damn electric bills. This shit is ridiculous. It's no reason why a damn electric bill through 1 month should be over $3 at the most, $3.50. Why are you spending $6, $7, $8? Why am I spending a couple $100? I had to spend $800 something. Dog, this is rigged. It's no reason why people. I thought it was just me. I did. I'm not lying. I thought it was just me. I thought until I realized when other people commented when I put that post up months ago, and I said, "Shit, you are kidding me. It's no way the electric company is running rampant."
This next part here is about people moving to other countries. And this was the part that I was going to put on with what I just put on and then leave it at that. But I can't do that. I just can't do that. You need to see what's coming. But this is about people moving to other countries. And they explain to you what it's like in other countries. Now, you got to keep up on this stuff because I'm not so sure how that's going to turn out. I've been thinking about moving to Georgia, the country Georgia, or Albania, or the Philippines. But if the whole world is going to be on board with the New World Order, where are you really going to go? What really concerns me in the United States is the number of data centers. We're talking 5,000 plus right now. And they want to get to, they say 9, and now they're saying 12,000 data centers. There's only 50 states. It's kind of like the guillotines. There were 30,000, and I thought, well, that's a lot per state. Now there's 238,000. Do you catch what I'm trying to tell you? So people are fleeing this country. And if you'll notice, the people that, even famous people, like, for example, Robin Williams was found in another place, but he said he wasn't Robin Williams. Look at Epstein. Now he's Palm Beach Pete. Really? And then you've got Jim Carrey. Nobody knows really what happened to him, but there was another Jim Carrey. Folks, it don't even look like him. It don't even sound like him. It don't even act like him. And people thought I was crazy when I said I had an incident about Elvis Presley, that he didn't die. You know how many times I've been called names for different things through the years? And people were trying to tell me that Elvis didn't die, that he's alive. And I was the same way. Oh, he's dead, leave it alone. Only I didn't say it quite like that. And then this song from Denton's, because people tried to fool me with songs. Oh, this must be Elvis. It sounds like Elvis. I said, no, that's not Elvis. But when that song came around, and I wasn't even looking, I went, that's him. And actually called the church he was preaching at. It got shut down within a week. I explained all that. Actually, I got a video down. You just scroll down, you'll see a video. What you see, I think, is I'm leaning up against a tree. I don't know. That's what I see when I look at the video. And somebody, a couple of months ago or something, said I was delusional on that too. I was crazy. I needed help. I blocked him. I'm the one that called the church. I'm the one that talked to people at the church, and they said, yes, it's him. I'm the one that talked to people that said, yeah, his piano man and his bass player was at the church. And they showed pictures of him. I'm the one that showed people and told people he recently, fairly recently, now I don't know if he's still preaching there now. I haven't checked anything on it. But he said that people would come to him, well, tell us about Jesus, Elvis. Where's Jesus, Elvis? And then he started stuttering, realizing that he slipped up. Bob Joyce has been seen at Mar-a-Lago. He's been seen at, he was at Lisa's funeral, officiating that. But the problem with that was a woman across the road says, well, Lisa didn't die because I saw her 2 days after she supposedly had a funeral across the road with her ex talking to him. She lived there. She had been seeing this woman, Lisa, go over there so many times. She knew who she was. And then that got me to thinking, what about Michael Jackson? See, they've been doing this stuff to people for a long time, little by little, so that it would desensitize you and make you think, well, that's just nothing. That's not what I saw. Right? Really? Pay attention, folks. Listen to this. And then I'll be back. Then there's a video after that. As a matter of fact, there's a separate clip. I did part 1. This is part 2. But I'm going to put part 3, which was only 1 short minute and 55-second video, because the woman says moving out into another country is good, but this is what you have to deal with. And she explains, and you can see it because she's crying. She misses her daughter. You miss people when you move to another country. You can't see them again. Right now, you're never going to see a lot of people again. In fact, my mom lives in the state over 100 miles away, and I'll never see her again. She's 87 years old. She's 20 years older than me. 20 years in a month. And 3 days older than me. And my dad, when I went down to visit somebody, just for 3 weeks, I think it was, I heard him cry, and he made me cry. And he said, because I'm never going to see you. I don't think I'm ever going to see you again. I said, yeah, you will, Dad. I'll be back. I did come back. Now, the last time I left, when I come up here, he didn't do that. I told my dad, I said, you made me cry. And Sandy, my stepmom, she says, you made your dad cry. The only time I've ever seen him do that is when my mom left him. He's been one tough old bird, stubborn as hell, manipulator. But I still loved my dad. And then he took the shot, talked my stepmom into it. Within a short period of time, he's in the hospital on a ventilator and died a few days later. And my stepmom, 2 weeks after that, had to have a heart valve replacement. My mom, on the other hand, she knew better. And it's funny to watch one parent and another parent, both in the same era, but one of them believes the government is lying and that you should protect yourself. And the other one, my dad, which used to be a gun-toting guy, thinking you should have guns, all of a sudden thought, oh, nobody needs guns. The government will take care of you. Believed everything that the news on TV had to say. Even to the point to call me stupid at one point for believing certain things. Folks, you got to wake up. This might be a 2-hour video. I don't know when I'm done. I hope not, but it might be. But I'm still saying, watch it. Please watch it and listen to what I'm telling you. I'm telling you from my heart. Don't just discount it. It's happening right now. And if you don't see it, I feel really sorry for you. Watch this.
American citizens are voluntarily leaving America. How do I know this? I'm a real estate transaction coordinator. I've been a real estate transaction coordinator for about 15 years. I've owned my own business. It'll be 9 years in September. In the 9 years that I've owned my own business, I have closed over 7,000 real estate transactions. And I have never seen what I am seeing right now. Currently, out of the 11 listings that I currently have under contract and managing, 5 of them, 5 families, are selling their homes to move abroad. 5 out of the 11, so almost half. And every single one of those 5 homes are under contract for over $1 million. So that's telling me that the wealthy are leaving. Back in the day when I was closing over 120 transactions per month, I would maybe have 1 seller per year selling their home to move abroad. But to have 5 all at once and above the $1 million price point, this is North Carolina and South Carolina markets, okay? This is not California. This is North Carolina, South Carolina, okay? It's like, I'm not an economist, but this is like a red flashing light warning. I have never seen this in 15 years that I've been in the real estate industry. So, yeah, just a little random factoid for you on this Wednesday morning.
So I've made a decision and I'm moving to Bali. I'm getting my kids up out of America because it sucks here. I can't stand it. I hate it. Ugh. I am ready to move. I've been doing so much research, been getting my paperwork together, talked to a realtor, trying to get my cash flow together, getting my things settled because it's happening. Like, I am over America. I'm over it. And I know I'm not the only one, but if I could just get at least like one of my family members or like one of my real friends to go with me, please, because I am still kind of scared. But why not?
We are very, very seriously starting to consider leaving the United States, and I just want to hear from someone who's done it. Where did you go? How did you decide that's where you're going? How did you get a visa? Do all of that? I'm definitely like researching on my own, but like if there was someone I could connect with who's done this before, like I just would love to utilize you as a resource. And yeah, if we can help one another, please.
Well, I am doing it. I am leaving the US for good this time. It feels so weird actually, because before we were just using the vacation visa because we wanted to make sure it's somewhere we want to be. We got our actual 4-year visa and we're leaving. It was just time. We're being priced out. We're exhausted. This rat race is like, that's not how we want to go out. It feels so surreal right now because it's like official. Like we have the visas. Well, my husband does. I had to work on getting mine when we get back, but like this is it. I am both extremely happy and very sad at the same time, as I'm gonna miss my family. But we just decided we're not gonna let anything stop us from living a life that makes us happy. And this life that we have chosen is what brings us joy.
And here we are. There's Mom. Say hi, Mom. This is Pam.
Hi.
Where are we going?
Albania.
Albania. Why are we going there?
Why?
Yeah.
For a better life.
That's a great answer. Okay, look at all this stuff. Okay. We are trying to solve right now, including, this is a little sad for me. My art supplies. School was a long time ago. I could buy new paint.
Okay, when is your now's my time to get out moment? Like now's the time to like, now I'm gonna leave. Like when is your like this is the moment? Like is it when they start arresting journalists? Like when is it? Guys, like for us, it was a year ago. It was a year ago. And it took us about 9 months, beginning to end, to get out of the country. So if you are thinking about possibly leaving, or if you have a way to possibly get out, or you want to start researching and looking into like ways to maybe leave, do it now. The best time was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Start now. Because look at what's been going on and all the crazy things that have happened. We moved in April, and I cannot believe the amount of insane things that have been happening in the last 3 months alone. Imagine where we're going to be 3 months from now.
The rat race that is living in the United States. This culture of workaholics, this culture of trauma bonding, this culture of stress and anxiety being the norm. Y'all, that's not supposed to be normal. Me and my husband did not realize how stressed out we were until we left the United States. We decided we wanted to live a slower life. We wanted to live a more peaceful life. We wanted to live a life where people actually had community. We wanted to live a life where people actually went outside and everybody wasn't just addicted to screens. And y'all, I'm telling you, our mental, physical, spiritual health has never been better. If you want to leave the United States in 2025, I promise it is possible for you, but you got to take action to make it happen.
I left America 6 months ago and my life is infinitely better. Let's talk about it. First things first, I've talked about this in other videos, but it cost me around $1,000 to leave the States, which is significantly less money than I ever anticipated. And I think it's a really important thing for everyone to be talking about, that it actually costs a lot less than you might think to leave the US. Since moving abroad, these are the things that have improved in my life. First and foremost, my physical health is infinitely better. Why? The food is better. The air quality is better. I'm happier. I'm less stressed out. Medicine and healthcare is way more affordable. Like, we're talking apples and oranges. People are nicer here because they are happier here. It is significantly easier to cultivate community in a place where people are trusting and loving and empathetic and kind. And I cannot stress this enough. My central nervous system is relaxed and calm for the first time in my life.
I thought leaving the country was going to be like the biggest culture shock. Turns out the biggest culture shock was actually moving back to America, man. So we've been back, back in the States from Thailand. We lived in Thailand for 9 months straight. Completely 90 days since we've been back, like trying to get back to used to driving a car. But off rip, just the prices, man. Like the first day we touched back down, like we spent $300 immediately. And that doesn't sound like much because we're used to spending that here. But man, like in Thailand, that was my rent for the month. So I legit just dropped my rent payment.
We know things are changing in the U.S. I acknowledge leaving is a privilege. Not everyone can do it. Many don't want to. Some want to stay and fight. Some want to stay because they have to or have other obligations. I get it. If you're staying, what is the plan? How do you plan to protect your income, protect your families, protect your food supply? What adjustments do you foresee you having to make? This is not to prove anything to anyone or to convince anyone of anything. This is strictly crowdsourcing because everyone does not have the privilege or the desire to leave. If you're staying, how are you going to do it? Someone else needs your idea. It's good to know that other people are working through and thinking through what's going to be required as things deteriorate. How will you adjust to these changes? Whether we leave or stay, we need a plan and we need each other.
As an American, there are some things that you can truly never fully understand until you leave the United States. I moved out of the United States 2.5 years ago, and since then, there have been moments where certain things happen that completely and utterly break everything that I've ever known. And today, one of those things happened. I'm currently living in Germany, and very recently I just got a part-time barista job. It's completely a part-time thing and just something for me to make some extra cash on the side. And I literally cannot even work more than 20 hours a week per my resident permit. And I haven't even started working yet, but there are some things about this job that have already broken me in a good way. As I'm in talks with the boss trying to get this job, I'm expecting like, okay, we'll do like an interview or something and they can see if they like me or not. And the boss emails me about like, they don't do like an interview, they do like a tryout day. And they're telling me like, come in for the tryout day and see if you like it and if you fit in with the environment well. And when I went in for the tryout day and like all went really well and stuff, the boss asked me at the end, so like if you feel good about this job, like if you like it, if it suits you well and you think you might want to stay here, then just like write me an email and let me know by like Tuesday or whatever. And they're not saying anything about like whether they even like me or not. Like all the focus seems to be on whether like I like the job and I want to stay there. Like I ended up having to ask like, well, do you like me? Like my German isn't so good. So like, is it okay or is it like a problem? Like, how do you feel like I fit in with the environment? And only then did I hear from the boss like that, yeah, they liked me too. And then as we're going through the hiring process, like the first thing that they tell me is like, okay, the paperwork should be ready to sign in like 2 weeks. First things first, I need a little bit of information from you. And the first thing she asked me was, when do you want to take your vacation days this year? Literally the first thing that they asked me. Guess how many vacation days I get for a part-time 20-hour-a-week barista job? I am allotted 36 vacation days, or 6 weeks in a 6-day work week schedule. 6 weeks. The thing that broke me today was an email from my boss telling me that not only is it possible for me to go on the public healthcare system, but it's literally required for me to. For context, this has never been possible for me before, and since I turned 25 and moved outside of the United States, I've only been able to have essentially travel insurance. And now through the German public healthcare system, I can pay into it and then see pretty much any doctor that I want to, as long as they have an available appointment for free or pretty much free. And the amount that you pay into it is like 100 euros a month. I haven't been to a dentist in like 10 years, and I know that partially that's definitely my fault, but I literally through like the public health insurance, it's like required for you to go like twice a year. I was like kind of freaking out when I first got the email, and I was like texting my German friends so that they could like help me understand better, and because like I translated it, but I was like, I don't want this to be like a false translation or something and me get my hopes up for no reason. And they were like, congratulations, like, but I was like really overwhelmed by it, and they were like, I don't understand what the big deal is. Like, yeah, of course, anyone in Germany who makes more than like 600 euros a month, they automatically can go on the public health insurance. And they're asking me like, what, you didn't know that? And I'm like, no, I didn't know that. Of course I could have like researched that, but like the thing is when you're socialized like as an American, like why would I have even expected that or thought to research something like that? We don't even have a public healthcare system like this. And a 20-hour-a-week barista gig would never give you social safety nets from it. Like, why would I have expected that? People who are not American will never understand that American systemically is so harsh, but like the thing is when you're socialized like as an American, like why would I have even expected that or thought to research something like that? We don't even have a public healthcare system like this. And a 20-hour-a-week barista gig would never give you social safety nets from it. Like, why would I have expected that? People who are not American will never understand that American systemically is so harsh and unforgiving and just cruel that it socializes you. If you're poor, if you're not wealthy, then it socializes you into having just an overall pessimistic mindset or having expectations that everything will be so difficult and or impossible that you should set your standards super, super, super low, like in hell, so that you can be easier to exploit. Why would I have ever thought to look something like that up? I'm used to a part-time job giving you nothing. I'm used to public healthcare not even really existing. I'm used to literally everyone I love around me being like constantly in this state of like nervous system dysregulation because they're constantly in fear that if they have 2-3 bad months, then they're literally on the street. I'm used to seeing women in abusive situations not be able to leave their husband because they will lose their health care or it will be too financially crippling for them and they are terrified of being homeless. I'm used to people working 2 to 3 jobs and still being so scared of not being able to make ends meet for their family. I'm used to things being impossibly expensive. I'm used to things being intentionally made to be as difficult as possible to deter people from obtaining them. I'm used to things being unforgiving and uncaring and unhuman. Like, I can't believe how easy it was for me to obtain the essential care that every human being needs and deserves just by serving a little bit of coffee. Like, of course you can read and research about other countries like as much as possible, but there's some things that you don't fully understand until you leave the United States. I'm so angry and full of grief that our government and our society and media and whoever else has convinced us that the way that we live is normal.
I'm Rachel, and my husband and I are leaving behind a 6-figure income to move abroad unemployed in 44 days. But before that, we are leaving behind our home in Seattle where we've lived with our 2 dogs for 12 years, packing up our car, driving across the country to spend the entire month of August with our families in Massachusetts. And that's happening in 8 days, so things are getting real around here. I know a lot of you are gonna wanna know why, and the short version is we burned out hard chasing the version of success that we're all sold here in the US. And eventually my husband and I kind of looked at each other and just said, what if we did this differently? And what if we kind of put our trust in the universe that things are gonna work out? So we are packing up our life, our 2 dogs, and we are flying to Italy to try something a little bit slower, a little bit softer, something that feels more honest.
Well, we're looking at leaving. We're gonna look at Canada and Portugal. Those are the 2 places we're looking. I can't even believe that I have to say this, but I am not going to sit and wait and hope that what we're seeing unfold doesn't actually happen. I'm not. I'm almost 60. What does that give me? Another 25, 30 years? I'm just keeping it real here. I don't want to live it like this. It's just not. No, I don't want to. And so do I want to leave my country? No. But my country kind of disappeared around 2015. And now it's unrecognizable to me. And so we're gonna do a little research. We've got our Go stuff packed, all our documentation. We are gonna check out Canada first, probably come back here, go check out Portugal, come back here. Maybe Turkey, I'm not sure, it depends. Yeah, I mean, can you, it's like mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling.
Hi, my name is Chelsea, and we moved to the Netherlands from Michigan in 2 weeks from yesterday. So, yeah, I haven't said anything on this app because I haven't really been on this app. We've been planning this for about 2 years now. We have 3 kids and a dog, and me and my husband, and we are moving to the Netherlands. And we both quit our corporate jobs of 14 years, and
I'm going all in on my own business, which is kind of like content. I do videos and photos for myself as well as for other people and other companies. And yeah, I'm just going all in on myself. Kind of scary, kind of exciting.
Well, this is officially my last evening and my last drive in the divided states of America before me and my family immigrate to Spain tomorrow. And I don't really know what I'm feeling. I actually feel like I'm just compartmentalizing everything right now.
Genuinely asking because I'm curious. I'm not one to fearmonger, but I am wondering how many of us are researching getting out of the US of A, and what are the things that need to happen in order for it to trigger that reaction? I fear that I will wait until it's too late and everybody's trying to do it at the same time, but I also don't want to live in fear, and I love my life in New York City, and I don't know another language because I had education in the United States and they don't value that. You get 2 years after you're 15 when we all know you're supposed to learn it younger, blah, 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 whatever. I guess I'm just afraid that I'm going to be caught in a situation from which I cannot extricate myself, and that I am not interested in. I also don't want to be trying to leave when millions of other people are trying to leave. So what's the plan?
We're 34 days until we move to Ireland. I swear it cannot come any sooner. Anyways, here's where we're at now. We've got movers coming in 2 days to pick up all the stuff that we're shipping. So we're really only taking this section, and then we have this section that we need to sell.
A lot of people wanted to know why I chose Albania. It's because of the lack of barriers to enter the country. As American citizens, we can live here for 1 year on just our passport. You get off the airplane, you walk into the airport, you scan your passport, that's it. We can live here for 1 year, but after 1 year, you do have to leave the country for at least 90 days before you return. So for those of you all who are researching different countries to move to, you know that a lot of countries have, financial requirements, or you have to be a specific type of professional, etc. They don't have that here in Albania. So a lot of people consider it to be a really great starting off point for their journey abroad, because it is a low barrier to entry. You can come and live by the beach in a nice apartment and enjoy yourself and figure out what your next steps would be.
All right, I am moving to Mexico. There's all of my belongings. Well, not all of them, actually. It's only a part of it. Oh, my car is packed. And the cat will sit back here. And I got this fan for her. And I have this a mesh barrier so that she can't come up front while I'm driving. My dog will sit up in the front with me. And then I just got the smallest U-Haul trailer. It's a 4 foot by 8 foot, but it is packed, completely full. There were stuff that I even had to leave behind because I just didn't have room for it. But about to start the 3-day drive, so we'll see how it goes.
I moved to Portugal about 5 months ago, and I live on the countryside, and I live on a beautiful farm where there's continuous life, continuous growth. It's so vibrant, kinds of veggies, all kinds of fruits, all kinds of animals, and there's so much life here, there's so much positivity. My dad would always talk about his time when he was a child growing up on the farm in San Miguel in the Açores. And, you're a kid listening to this, you hear the same story a million times, you kind of just shrug it off. Being the person I am now at this age, I appreciate that a lot more. I guess what I'm trying to say is this is a beautiful thing. What an opportunity. Good for stress, this is good for depression, this is fantastic.
Okay, I've been living in Costa Rica for almost 4 years now, and I would never in a million years want to live in a city in the States again. I see all you guys on TikTok, all these people in New York, LA, these major cities, and to me, that life was miserable. I was not happy. I was so stressed out. Didn't feel like I fit in. It was just it wasn't it for me. I had so much anxiety also. I was on medication for anxiety. That's how bad it was. I moved to Costa Rica. I am not an anxious person. Just turns out I wasn't meant to live in a city in the States. It's wild what moving to Costa Rica has done for my mental health, physical health, my social life. I have the best friends. I love my life so much. I'm so happy here. People ask me all the time when I'm gonna move back to the States, and the answer is never.
I live in the Portuguese countryside. I just moved here from the US a few months ago, and I truly believe I am the luckiest person alive because I'm spending my Saturday morning with my neighbors picking potatoes from a field, and I couldn't be any happier. So peaceful. Like, I learned so much here.
Anyone wanting to move out of America, it's all fine and good, but this is what living abroad looks like. A lot of the time, it's shitty and lonely and scary and exhausting. And there are a lot of people on here who will say, I just moved here and it's great. I know that is true. It's better than America, whatever it is, but there's also a lot of really shitty parts. My daughter was just here for 3 weeks. She left this morning to fly back to go to school. And I miss her already. And I don't have my good friends, my friends who know me here to support me in this moment. And it sucks. So I'm missing my family and my friends. And I've been here 18 months. It's not like I'm new. I don't know why I'm posting this. I hate when people post crying on the internet, but I just want people, I've had a large influx on my FYP of either Americans that are moving abroad, planning to move abroad, have already moved abroad, and there's a lot of us. And there's a lot of reasons to want to move abroad, and I get that America is not a safe place for a lot of people right now. But it's just, you need to know the reality of like how mentally hard it is to start over. It's exciting, but it's also some really shitty days. So,
folks, this next part, I hope you paid attention, by the way. This next part, this is going to blow your mind. And listen to Tommybites. This is Tommybites. I'm going to give her credit where credit is due for most of this video. Some of it's somebody else's, but this is her. And her name, the channel name is Tommybites. You can search Tommybites, but if I catch myself in time, I'm going to grab a link from her channel and put it below in the description box. She had to have eyes done. And she talks about power going out. She talks about power going out in her house and how the electrical corporation workers were working on the poles all the time. And how the power went out in the hospital when she was in the hospital getting her eyes done. Because she had to have surgery on her eyes. And then at home, the power didn't come on. It never came on. They went down to the basement. Whatever they did blew up or blew out their electrical box, and they had to replace it. $2,000. And these videos that she's got on here, even old woman is going to tell you to wake up. And she says in her own words, I'm paraphrasing, but she says she felt like screaming. And you're going to see robots. And by the way, I told you already in another video, maybe this one in the beginning, I don't remember, but there was a robot. I seen a video with a robot in Kroger. Oh, this has got some robots doing everything you can imagine. In fact, I heard last year they were starting to use robots for surgery. Did you hear what I said? who are you going to sue if somebody that you love is on the operating table and that robot makes a mistake? You can't sue them. They're not going to let you sue them. So you got to get ready for what's happening. Nobody's going to have a job by the time they're done. See, I told you my phone's acting up. I'm going to leave it this time. I'm not going to mess around with it because I've never had a problem until I got to this part of the video that I'm going to do right now. And these people know what I'm doing. They're watching me just like they're watching you when you got your phone on. You're looking at my videos, they know it. People's families are getting threatened. People's farms are getting taken. Churches are being threatened. Violence is everywhere. And the church does nothing and says nothing. It's not getting their people ready for what's going to come. These robots is just one facet, folks. The fallen angels are here, and they're going to manifest right before your eyes. And some of these things are huge. If you think it's scary, what you're seeing now, you wait. Folks, you watch this. You watch this, and you take it to heart. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. I am out of here.
You know how they talk about the grid's going to go down? But what if that day comes and, lights out, we don't have electricity, and the grid really didn't go down, but the power was diverted to the #1 priority, which would be the data centers? That is a very big plausibility. Big time.
I want to say to God, I give the glory. I hope y'all are having a blessed day. I started this video on Friday and I'm finishing it up today. I just want to say we are in the middle of a energy lockdown. Not enough people are talking about it, so I'm going to talk about it here. I want y'all to share this video out with your family and your friends, because if they can do this to Cuba, they can definitely do this to us in order to reset our system and bring that system back up under a digital currency. An energy lockdown is happening right now. They are starving people over in Cuba. This is what I see happening for us. This is the vision that I am getting, that this is going to be happening to us. I'm sorry I'm talking to y'all with my shades on, but my eyes are bothering me today. I tried to ride my bike to get a little exercise in, and the wind was just too much for me, and the light is just too much for me. But I wanted to come on today and tell y'all this, so please check this video out. I'm sorry that it's a little bit long, but it's definitely needed. The regular news is not talking enough. They're not talking enough about this, that we are doing human beings like this, and if they can do that to them, they will do this to us. We need to be preparing right now, stocking up our homes with whatever we need, because it is coming. It is happening in Cuba, and it will happen here. Our grid is failing as is, and they're going to take whatever little bit of power we have to feed it to the data centers. We see what's happening with the people in Lake Tahoe right now. They've already been told, we're cutting your energy come 2027. 55,000 people are going to lose their electricity. They'll do it to us. But they call other countries evil. But they will do this to us as well. We need to pray. We need to plan. We need to prepare. We need to put God first. We need to not be scared, for one. Get in prayer, stay in prayer, get in your word, stay in the word. Because God is going to handle all of these things that are happening. And no weapon formed against us shall prosper.
I'm going to say this again. I've said it 5 times at least. You guys are not realizing what grid down means. Society as you know it won't end. There won't be any work. There won't be any hospitals to go to. There won't be any police department that will come to your aid. No one is going to save you. You won't be able to travel anywhere after about 36 hours. So if you're going to bug out to a location, you better do it within that time period. And don't expect to stop for gas because gas stations will be closed. Grocery stores will be closed. Don't expect to stop by your ATM and get money because that's going to be shut down. Everything that we use in society right now is tied to the electrical grid. And the number one thing that's sucking the electrical grid dry is data centers because they did not build the infrastructure. And don't tell me they did, because they did not. And it's taxing our grid and it's going to tumble. Everything's going to go down. Nothing will be as it is right now. And when the grid goes down, people are going to want to get supplies from other people. And so you're going to want to, with your supplies, you've gotten prepped and you have people around you who you love. And now you're going to have to secure your home. You're going to have to put darkening on all your windows, which will make it darker inside. You're going to want to get all the windows, even the ones that are frosted and up. You're going to want to get all the skylights. You're going to want to get every kind of area that will leak light that you have inside, such as candles, flashlights, and all off-grid lighting, cooking, and heating will be have to be brought into the house or the apartment where you're going to be held up. You do not even have an inkling of how bad it's going to be. I wish I could shake you. And right now I'm almost ready to scream. You do not know everything. Everything, 98% of your life is going to be gone. Gone, gone, gone. If you don't have a backup generator, get at least one. We have 5. You need to realize how shocking it's going to be. You're going to want to get home as soon as possible. Walk if you need to. That's why you need supplies in your car in case you need to walk, because the freeways and the highways will be gridlocked. There's not going to be any signals. And there's going to be emergency vehicles trying to get through. Guys, think of the worst case scenario, multiply it by 100. And that's where it starts.
Think if it was us, when it's us. Cuba has fallen. That island is completely dependent on oil. And 15 days ago, they blocked oil from coming to Cuba. They completely run out of oil. Their oil refinery magically was set on fire. So even if they got oil, they can't process it and they can't use it. So the people are just there waiting. It's 11 million people. It is children. It is elderly. It is sick people, the hospitals. They've run out of food. There's no clean water. So cholera is deadly diarrhea. Our government is hostage. They basically can't do anything. They just have to go along to get along. 95% of the country is without lights. They're without, it's completely dark. It's a blackout over there. They're only using stuff for military bases and bunkers at this point. Their national grid has completely fallen. They've run out of the state-run internet and the cell services out. This is the largest humanitarian crisis in the Western Hemisphere. There's nothing like this that we've ever been a part of. This is oh, that's just Gaza. That's the Middle East. These are not our issues. This is 30 miles from South Florida. They have blocked all exits from Cuba. Their planes are just sitting on the runway because they have no fuel. 2 countries tried to send them aid, Mexico and Russia. They were blocked by U.S. ships. He threatened tariffs on anyone that sends them supplies or helps them out. Cuba is in talks with becoming part of Mexico, but Mexico is in turmoil because of, and it's all relevant because Cuba used to get their oil from Venezuela. I am absolutely praying for them. May any type of miracle come through. And I just think it's like when people really do muster up the strength to get back at us and get their lick back, it's not gonna be good. Karma is real. We could get it too. If you want to know what's going on, you have to watch.
global news.
Cuba's electricity grid has now completely collapsed. The whole island is out of power after the US effectively starved it of fuel. So no fuel means no electricity, it means no water, unless you can afford to buy it very expensively from the black market, and there are now reports that even that is a struggle. So this is the first national outage. There have been local outages before, which have kept the island going, but when the whole system goes down, it's much harder to get back up and running again. So this is becoming critical. So not having electricity has been an inconvenience perhaps, but now it could very quickly turn into a humanitarian crisis if the hospitals can't operate, if the emergency services can't get about, not to mention what's happening in schools and homes. So President Trump is the only person who can solve this by allowing oil to get to the island again. They had relied on oil from Venezuela, but Trump effectively cut that off. It's just not very clear what Trump wants from Cuba.
This does not shore up our grid. Our grid is going to fail one way or another. So I think it's very clear what he wants from Cuba, what he wants from everybody. He wants the land.
Is next.
Cuba.
Is Cuba, whatever you do with the military there, it seems like something. Will that look more like Iran or Venezuela?
Can't tell you that. I can tell you that they're talking to us. It's a failed nation. They have no money, they have no oil, they have no nothing. They have nice land. They have nice landscape, you know. It's a beautiful island. Cuba, I don't know, it's in its own way, for, you know, tourism and everything else, it's a beautiful island, great weather. They're not in a hurricane zone, which is nice for a change, you know. They won't be asking us for money for hurricanes every week. But I think Cuba's the end. You know, all my life I've been hearing about the United States and Cuba. When will the United States do it? I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba.
Oops, was that a slip of the tongue? Did he say owner of Cuba and then switched it real quick to honor of taking Cuba?
That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth? They're a very weakened nation right now. They were for a long time. Very violent leaders.
So disgusting. Hey y'all, so I hope you're having a good Friday. Listen, there are some strange things happening. I mean, strange things happening, not just to other people, but around my home. So on the day that I had my surgery, I believe that was Tuesday, the power kept jumping on and off. Now it will come right back on. So I saw nothing wrong with that. And I think I showed y'all what happened after, later that night after I had my surgery. Well, the power didn't come back on. So when we went downstairs to the basement where the box is, the electrical box is, it literally had burnt out. We had to replace that box. $2,000. Replace that box. I believe, because I told y'all I have been seeing the electric company almost on every street corner, everywhere I go around here. They are working on power lines. This is all they've been doing for the past 2 months, putting in new power lines. And you can guess why. This is not far from Lenore, where they have a data center at. It's at least 40 minutes away. It's adding more power lines. I think the system cannot take it. I think the grid is going to go down. We are going to lose power. We need to be preparing for that right now. We were lucky enough to get the power back up and going that night, but we didn't have any air. So we need to think about these things now. With them putting all of that infrastructure in, the data centers in, every single state has multiple data centers. There's like
a data center probably around 40 minutes from me in Lenoir, North Carolina. It's a small one. It's not on a massive scale. People probably don't even know it's there. The reason I know it's there is because my husband delivered to it. He drives tractor trailer trucks. And then he showed me where it was. And I couldn't even see it because it's sitting on a busy road, but surrounded by trees. Normally they knock everything out, but this is a smaller version of one. So they're having big ones out here. They're buying up land, buying out homes, forcing people off so that they can build their data centers.
On May 15th, 2017, the Meyer family moved into their own custom-built 38,000 square foot home in the new Prairie View subdivision, consisting of 13 homes. A month after moving in, Sean Meyer had just finished moving 36 pallets of bricks to his home when Foxconn announced they'd be building over his land. The residents of homes were given a choice: sell us your home for what we think is fair, or we will take it by eminent domain. Eminent domain allows the city to forcibly buy your property as long as it's either deteriorated, aka blighted, or in the path of a planned roadway or government project. Maps would be shown to residents of a road going through their home, thus making it legal to buy them out, only for the planned road in some cases to disappear or to become not as large as intended. One homeowner even reported that road widening plans were already scrapped 2 months before their home was bought. In other words, plans only changed when the village wanted to buy a home. Another property, which is or was owned by Jack and Colleen Erickson for their trucking business, was forcibly landlocked after the property was cut in half by a new road. The city offered them, quote, pennies on the dollar while they were still in operation, but the Ericksons refused. One day, $1.6 million were given to the Ericksons for their truck shop without their consent, and their property was declared blighted and unsafe. One night, concrete barriers were put over the driveways of the facility, putting business to a halt overnight, with everything still inside. Mr. Erickson attempted to go onto the property to retrieve his valued items when he was detained by police for trespassing on his own property. Since that day, the property remains frozen in time.
If you refuse to, go along with it, then they're going to tie you up in court. They have more money. They have long money that you're not going to win against them. I mean, people who have whole farms just bought out. They're buying up these farms, and some of the times they don't even do a data center there. They just don't want that farm there. They don't want us to have access to food.
I'm scared to see what this country is going to look like if more families don't step up for their land. We almost lost this farm to a developer. Luckily, the deal fell through, but I need to tell you what is happening to farms all over the country right now. Farmers are aging out and the land is being sold off piece by piece to the highest bidder. Older farmers are selling to developers, solar farms, data centers, because the offers are really high. And honestly, who could blame them? That's their retirement and everything that they've worked so hard for. But when that land sells, it's gone, and I need us to understand what we are giving up. Once that land is industrialized, you can no longer farm it. And land prices will surely go up all around it, and normal people are already priced out of this lifestyle.
They want to give us what they want us to have. That's concerning. Everyone should be concerned about that. We should not worry about anything, but we definitely should be concerned about that. This is a warning, okay? This is a warning before the storm. Prepare now. You're seeing food on the shelves. I'm seeing gaps here and there, but there is food on the shelf. Now, some of that food has gone up in price, but we might have to bite the bullet and do a little extra stocking up. Instead of buying one of whatever you buy 2. Put that one away. It used to be you could buy 3 and put 2 away, but with these prices and fuel and all of that, listen, it's a lot of strange activity happening. They know what the plan is. They have planned ahead. They have stocked up. They have bunkers. They have filled those bunkers with everything that they need, from medical to food to you name it. You need to be stocking up as well. They're going to crash the system. I promise you this. In order to get the digital currency going, they're going to crash the system so that the dollar is absolutely nothing. And when it comes back up,
well, hey, we have your money on this. This is some weird activity that's happening. And I know I'm not the only one that's seeing this. Prices of food changing right before your eyes.
And look at this. They're digital. You can't open this. It's digital. $99, not $5.99 for her. That's what it's going to come to. It's going to come to the camera's picking us up. We're going to be picked up on camera. And it's going to know who we are, know what we bought, and it's going to raise the price.
I literally witnessed this brand and all these other 10 snack size bars change from $2.50 to $3.16. It started glitching and I thought, what in the world? Because I had noticed that it was $2.50 when I come down this aisle. And next thing I know, it says $3.16 and I see this one glitching and I see this one glitching.
Price of gas changing 3-4 times a day. I saw someone getting gas in California. It was $9 for regular fuel. How in the world are people supposed to survive? They don't care, y'all. They do not care. So you're going to have to care. First of all, I want to stop real quick and say thank you for those of you who wished me well with my eye surgery. I'm still having issues with it. It's not hurting as much today. So the sun is not shining right this minute, so that's why I'm able to not have the glasses on. I'm not seeing all the little floaters everywhere at the moment. So I said, hey, let me come on and just, see if anybody else is noticing the strange activity that's going on. So not only are we going to have to deal with the prices, we're going to have to deal with the grid going down. How are you going to get your power? Do you have backup power? What can you use for your backup power? Do you have solar? If you don't, I have links in my description. Do you have gas generators? What do you have to use? Most people around me in the area that I live in, they have like Generac and things like that. We don't have that. And the box that we have, the electrical box that we had, this house is a 1990s house, like 1998 or something like that. Well, so is the box. So it couldn't handle whatever they're doing to the electricity. And so it shot out. You would think they will pay for that? Nope, that's not going to happen. And then as if it is not enough that we are out here, a lot of people are struggling to buy food, to pay for medication, to do just things for their children. Now they got to worry about AI, robot taking their jobs. I don't know if there is any job out there right now that they don't plan to use a robot for.
This is a bit terrifying right here. These are workers in India right there with cameras on their head that are recording every single move that they make in order to train an AI for robotics. It's kind of scary to think that these men right here are essentially training AIs to replace them in the near future.
The robots are going to just do whatever you want.
All the blue-collar labor is being done by robots. All data centers are being built by robots.
The white-collar labor will be the first to go, because until you can move atoms, the thing that can be replaced first is anything that involves just digital. Like if it's digital, like if it involves tapping keys on a keyboard and moving a mouse, the computer can do that. The AI can do that.
Sure.
You need the humanoid robots to shape atoms. So if all you're doing is changing bits of information, which is white-collar work, that is the first thing that
when
AI will. The robots are going to just do whatever you want.
A lot of blue-collar workers love to say, join a trade and your job won't get taken away by a robot or AI anytime soon. And all I have to say is, look at this video, right? What normally would take about 15 to 20 people to finish this slab, I would say we probably had like a handful of 7 people, right? Don't get me wrong, the job is a lot easier on the body with these machines, but just wait till AI gets more complicated and they're able to just take away the operator itself, right? And you just have one foreman on the job. How many jobs is that getting taken away?
Is here. Construct a house in just 2 days.
We gonna talk.
What you see is a house-building robot developed in Germany. The device is directly mounted on a truck to construct houses. Before building, the model must be pre-designed on a computer. Then, the entire construction plan is transmitted to the robot, and only then can the robot start building the house. This robot has a 25-meter-long arm, allowing it to construct buildings up to 8 stories high.
And he only getting better.
At the end of the long arm, there is a video camera and a laser tracking system that precisely places the bricks in the correct position. Milestone. Robots did an 8-hour factory shift without errors in China. Robots from China's AI revolution reach another milestone. They successfully completed an 8-hour shift on a tablet assembly line, handling high-speed precision tasks and without human intervention. These robots are now entering real industrial deployments, faster and smarter than ever. The question remains, will AI robots replace millions of jobs? And who will be the AI robot superpower? The future of manufacturing is here.
An invention that could potentially upend one of the largest industries in America. That invention, a driverless truck.
Driverless semi-trucks are now operating in Texas.
No one behind the wheel of a huge semi-truck.
The company Aurora launched service this week.
My heart is just palpitating thinking about this.
Aurora Innovation and several of their competitors have been using I-45 as a testing ground to prove a single point. They don't need drivers.
Well, it's going to be a catastrophe.
We are on the verge of a new era in trucking.
I mean, this is truly transformational technology.
And it's coming for your job, too.
More jobs are lost through automation than they are through trade deals.
A robot comes into a factory, workers go away.
Robots could soon put together your next grocery order.
Many office jobs even.
The job you have today ain't going to be here in 10 or 15 years.
The question would be to the company, why do you need everything automated?
So, we came to Texas to witness the revolution for ourselves.
Every load that one of these driverless trucks take is a load that's being taken away from a driver.
We spent time with truck drivers talking about what this means for them.
I kind of am one of the last of the cowboys. We are truly a dying breed of people.
And find out how ready our roads and our society are for this change.
Have we done a good job of addressing the policy questions that need to be answered in order to successfully develop this to maximize the benefits of it? I think absolutely.
How this giant machine transformed a lumber yard. A massive mechanical claw is now doing the heavy lifting at a lumber yard. Watching this colossal machine scoop up an entire pile of logs in one go is mind-blowing, especially for the workers who used to handle the task manually. Just a few months ago, it was all done by hand, with workers hauling and stacking wood piece by piece. One of the supervisors admitted that hiring manual labor used to be cost-effective, but with wages rising, it's become impossible to maintain the same workforce. The owner made the tough decision to replace most of the team with this powerful machine. While they still need a few technicians to keep it running smoothly, the cost savings are undeniable. Instead of relying on dozens or even hundreds of laborers, the yard now runs efficiently with just a handful of maintenance workers. It's clear that the transition to automation has revolutionized how the lumberyard operates. What used to take a team hours can now be done in minutes.
This is a shipping port in China where there's not a single worker on the ground. People inside on computers unload ships using 5G and then place them on autonomous AI vehicles that drive the containers to trucks and load them without any human assistance. In fact, what you're seeing is the first fully automated 5G port in the world. And you might not think it, but this is extremely controversial because partly the reason why 45,000 port workers in the US have gone on strike right now is because they want promises in their contract that these shipping companies will not implement autonomous technologies and threaten their jobs. And this is a really tricky subject because on the one hand, no one wants to put people out of their jobs just so companies can turn a bigger profit. But on the other hand, the Tianjin port in China requires only 25% of the workforce of a traditional port while also being able to load almost 10 containers more per hour. That equates to about 70,000 more a year. And the workforce they do have are inside in air-conditioned rooms on computers, which has made problems even trickier. This smart port system is currently being prepared to be replicated around the world.
What is your prediction for the year 2027?
So we're looking at a world where we have levels of unemployment we've never seen before. We're probably looking at AGI as predicted by prediction markets and tops of the labs.
So we'd have artificial general intelligence by 2027. How would that make the world different to how it is now?
So if you have this concept of a drop-in employee, you have free labor, physical and cognitive, trillions of dollars of it. It makes no sense to hire humans for most jobs. If I can just get, a $20 subscription or a free model to do what an employee does, first, anything on a computer will be automated. And next, I think humanoid robots are maybe 5 years behind. So in 5 years, all the physical labor can also be automated. So we're looking at a world where we have levels of unemployment we've never seen before.
What we're going to see in the next 6 months outstrip. I just came from an AI conference out west, and holy cow, they said to me that what we're going to see in the next 6 months outstrips what we've seen in the last 10 years because the rate of change is on a hockey stick and heading up. And I got to say, I'm pretty up to date on this stuff, and it blew my mind on some of the stuff I was seeing.
In terms of what? What did you see?
Well, there was one company that is selling autonomous coding for enterprises to big businesses, and their revenue is up 100-fold in the last 12 months.
I think everyone. My prediction is that there'll be more robots than people. But if you have billions of humanoid robots, and I think there will be, I think everyone on Earth is going to have one and going to want one, because who wouldn't want a robot to, assuming it's very safe, watch over your kids, take care of your pet. If you have elderly parents,
I don't want to make this a extremely long video, but I appreciate you guys for watching this long. If you did, put a purple heart in the comments so that I know that you were there, or put a prayer hand in the comments, because we all need prayer right now. Prayer is what's going to get us through these rough times to come. There is no reason for us to be fearful of all of the things that they are doing to disrupt our lives, to make us have less. No reason for us to fear that when we have Christ in our life. Lay it at his feet. Give it to him. He knows what they are doing. He is working a plan out right now that you can't even see, that will be beyond what you could ever think of, to get out of whatever situation that you are in. If you are having trouble paying your bills, if you are having trouble in your marriage, if you are having trouble with your children, give it to God. Pray over your family, your finances, all of the things that are affecting you in your life. God is in control. And maybe I do need to say that more. I had to think about what that person was saying. I do speak about God, but maybe I do need to speak about him more in the goodness of God and all that he can overcome that we cannot overcome, all the things that he is doing in the background that we can't even see. God is alive. God is able to do abundantly, exceedingly, more than you could ever think of, more than you could ever do for yourself. Trust in him. Accept him into your heart. And believe that he died on that cross for your sin, for my sin, and he rose on that third day. And he is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and he is coming back. And he will handle those who are mishandling his children.